Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin based on novel. So let's start. Lord Luo He, please continue to garrison the Forbidden Area. Sha Kingdom's forces may return to launch a sneak attack at any moment, Mo Li Xiao responded. Now that Huyang City is under attack from various factions of Sha Kingdom, once the city calms down, Lord Luo He will have completed his employment. Understood, Luo Feng replied. He understood that, on one hand, the city owner's mansion had a detailed plan, and the defending force was sufficiently strong, so his help was not required. On the other hand, as a hired cultivator, he knew the trust the city owner's mansion had in him was limited. I had hoped to exchange blows with a few more masters, what a pity. Luo Feng stepped back to the entrance of the Forbidden Area and took up his post, beginning to reflect on the previous battle. The divine power of Yu Tianyi was far inferior to his, and even the power of frost unleashed by the mechanical flow secret treasure was not as good as his perfect divine body. Her blade technique, Luo Feng recollected, has a profound influence on space, fundamentally different from the effects of the Myriad Realms escape command on space. Luo Feng pondered and understood. The path to the primal chaos laws was not easy. Luo Feng, who had been an eternal true god for just over 2 decades, did not have as much realm accumulation as Yu Tianyi, Yu Tianshu, Shuiyun, and the others. Luo Feng would learn from his opponents, allowing himself to grow faster. We've won this forbidden area. The other 2 areas are still in the midst of battle. The Jin Xiao Legion, the 3-sword sky-splitting beast, and the saber-winged devouring insect were also communicating, feeling much at ease. Lucky for us to have Lord Luo He, otherwise, just us alone would likely have needed to call for reinforcements. Lord Luo He truly holds to his promises, even going so far as to kill several eternal true gods of Sha Kingdom. That eternal true god who wielded thunder, likely had a mechanical flow treasure, which also ended up in Lord Luo He's hands. Earning a couple of million cosmic sand for Lord Luo He really seems like a trivial task. They conversed through voice transmission, quite envious. Although the side of the city owner's mansion thought it highly unlikely for Lord Luo He to betray them, they still took precautions. Should Lord Luo He betray them, the city owner's mansion would immediately mobilize forces to support them. Boom! Boom! In the night sky, 2 towering figures collided and battled each other. One was Mo Li Xiao controlling the Legion mechanical secret treasure 6-armed divine owl, and the other was the towering true body of Yu Tianshu, who had already started burning divine power, wielding a long staff. With each collision, their might seemed to make heaven and earth tremble. This Yu Tianshu truly deserves to be the head of the 5 gods of Yu Tian. His godly body has been cultivated to an inconceivable extent, perhaps not even the unlimited godly bodies can compare. Mo Li Xiao was shocked. I'm controlling the Legion, and even with the aid of the Huyang City formation, I can only barely injure him. Yu Tianshu did not bother defending, attacking with each move as if causing a great collision between heaven and earth, ferociously and violently. Those light injuries would be instantaneously recovered by his godly body. Mo Li Xiao was also quite troubled for a while. Facing me, Divine Monarch Shuiyun only has a realm advantage and poses no threat to my godly body, Yu Tianshu said confidently. As one who possessed a godly body considered among the most formidable at the eternal true god level, and having also cultivated his divine power Dharma to an extremely high level, Yu Tianshu feared nothing once he unleashed his full strength. Yu Tianshu, retreat, Divine Monarch Shuiyun suddenly messaged. Retreat? Yu Tianshu questioned, replying through messaging. Why retreat? Yu Tianyi has failed on her end, and over here I've encountered Great General Yong Hu from the royal capital of Yu Kingdom. I need to flee too. If you don't retreat, you might be surrounded and attacked. Retreat quickly, Divine Monarch Shuiyun responded. Although Divine Monarch Shuiyun served Marquis Liu Yin of Sha Kingdom, he had never really fought for his life in Huyang City. He had only ever used a fraction of his strength, 5 parts perhaps, which was enough to intimidate Huyang City and to demand an abundance of resources from Marquis Liu Yin. With the conflict between the 2 kingdoms, their backing powers are endless. The more I reveal, the heavier the responsibilities I will have to shoulder, and the stronger the opponents I will encounter. Who knows, I may even die one day. By hiding some of my strength, I can live longer. My goal isn't to fight to the death for Sha Kingdom, but to gain resources for a breakthrough into the primal chaos realm. Divine Monarch Xueyun was very clear about what he wanted. In the land of origin, generally, each large city is home to several incredibly strong eternal true god. But Divine Monarch Xueyun didn't take them seriously, for his realm cultivation had already reached unfathomably deep levels. Even Yu Tianshu and Yu Tianyi believed that he should be one step into the primal chaos realm. I cultivate both my bloodline and laws, and furthermore, I've deduced 9 moves from the primal chaos realm. Looking at all the eternal true gods in the whole of Sha Kingdom, it's hard to find one with a higher realm than mine. Yet even so, I have still not made a breakthrough. Divine Monarch Xueyun stared at the formidable being before him. This time in Huyang City, I finally encountered someone whose strength is not inferior to mine. The 3 forbidden lands were guarded by Luo Feng, Mo Li Xiao, and an old man with white hair. Great General Yong, who was a hidden strength. After the 3 forbidden lands were attacked, Great General Yong who chose to assault Divine Monarch Xueyun, because this time Divine Monarch Xueyun's unleashed strength was somewhat frightening and threatened the forbidden lands. You won't escape today. Great General Yong who was filled with a killing intent. He had cultivated unlimited godly bodies and was an eternal true god with exceptional talent throughout the entire Yu Kingdom, highly valued by the godly king. He had also learned many skills and laws from the godly king. His cultivation in the realm had already reached a very high level, and he had also comprehended moves from the primal chaos realm. With unlimited godly bodies, the godly king's legacy, realm, will, and treasures, General Yong had no weaknesses. This Xueyun's godly body is not as good as mine, General Yong thought intensely with killing intent, but his accumulated realm cultivation is even above mine, using various moves in an unpredictable and enigmatic manner. Thankfully, the Huyang City formation is aiding me, and today I finally have the chance to kill him. If it weren't for the assistance of Huyang City formation, General Yong would not be able to do anything to his opponent. General Yong, you're just taking advantage of the formation, Divine Monarch Xueyun said with a slight smile, and suddenly his body transformed into rolling blood waves, sweeping over a vast area in an instant. Luo Feng, with the help of the mechanical flow secret treasure Lifeblood River, could also turn into a stretch of blood river. But Divine Monarch Xueyun had combined several primal chaos realm moves, allowing his godly body to be completely transformed into an endless blood wave, which was far more exquisite in application than Luo Feng's mere driving of the mechanical flow secret treasure. General Yong was startled. Suppress. With a shout from General Yong, a gigantic, illusory stamp descended in the night sky, slamming down on the blood wave beneath, causing parts of the blood wave to be annihilated. The remaining vast majority of the blood wave spread in all directions, instantly engulfing a range of billions of miles. It devoured all life within those billions of miles, whether it was those living true gods or the true gods of the void space, swallowing everything, with the expanse of the blood wave still expanding. Insolence. General Yong's expression changed as the single wave of the blood wave devoured more than 1 billion creatures. General Yong, I admit you have more treasures than me and have formations to aid you. If we keep this up, I won't be able to escape. But when you finally kill me, how many creatures do you think I can massacre? 500 billion, 1,000 billion? Ha, massacring so many creatures, can you handle the consequences? Divine Monarch Xueyun's voice boomed and echoed through every part of the blood wave. As the giant illusory seal crushed the blood wave, the rolling waves continued to sweep across regions. No. Save me. What's happening? Countless creatures faced sudden calamity, vanishing in an instant within the blood wave. Get lost. General Yong's face darkened as the illusory seal in the sky retracted and fell into his palm, and the might of the formation was also withdrawn. General Yong is truly wise. The rolling blood wave scattered and disappeared without a trace. General Yong remained in place, quite unwilling to let it go. General Yong. An elder with white hair approached him. To kill an eternal true god of Sha Kingdom by sacrificing tens of billions, or even hundreds of billions of creatures is simply not worth it. General Yong shook his head. If he really massacred that many, not just me, but all 5 great families will be held accountable. How could divine monarch Shui Yun be so powerful? The white-haired elder could hardly believe it. Through the long years until now, he has never revealed such strength. Both sides had been fighting for a long time, with divine monarch Shui Yun's side even at a disadvantage. Without the Huyang city formation, I can't even handle him. General Yong was indeed a bit agitated, his renown being what it was, and with the cultivation bestowed by the godly king, this divine monarch Shui Yun, not very famous, had accumulated a higher realm than him. General Yong silently sighed. Status doesn't equate to strength. Even some reclusive cultivators can have extremely high realms, and it's also possible for a primal chaos dominator to emerge among them. Never underestimate any opponent. General Yong scanned the surroundings. The residences of the true gods in Huyang City were separated into different areas, but even so, the endless blood wave affected too vast an area, affecting tens of billions of creatures in just a few clashes. About 80 billion creatures died at the hands of Shui Yun, said the white-haired elder with an ugly expression. Such a huge loss must be reported to the Marquis, reported to the royal capital. We did our best. General Yong turned to leave. Though the clashes between primal chaos dominator-level beings could, with a mere opening of the mouth, swallow an entire large city and obliterate all creatures within it. Still, the conflict at the level of eternal true gods, counting tonight's destruction and massacre in Huyang City, with nearly 100 billion creatures perishing at once, still caused significant headaches for the city owner's mansion. Such public killings were impossible to hide. In front of the Forbidden Lands palace gate, Luo Feng sat cross-legged, with Morosa and Moyu Qingyang standing guard next to him. Brother Luo He, your task is complete, Mo Li Xiao messaged Luo Feng. Sha Kingdom's forces have completely retreated, they won't make a move easily again. With General Yong's presence, the forces of Sha Kingdom were naturally wary. This time divine monarch Shui Yun was able to threaten and force General Yong to withdraw by slaughtering countless creatures. Good. Luo Feng stood up and messaged back, how's the situation this time? Not good, many citizens in the city died, Mo Li Xiao transmitted, details will probably spread soon. Mo Li Xiao was quite aware of how informed various factions within Huyang City were. Such a big incident couldn't be kept secret, especially since the Flame Wind Pavilion was extremely adept at gathering intelligence. In many respects, they were stronger than the city owner's mansion. Luo Feng glanced at Morosa and Moyu Qingyang. We can go back now. Lord Luo He, we owe you a great deal for this time. General Jin Xiao and the two leaders of Huyang Guards came to see them off. A small matter. Luo Feng nodded, then led Morosa and Moyu Qingyang onto the flying boat and left. The General Jin Xiao and the two leaders of Huyang Guards watched the scene. Our own losses are negligible, but the other two forbidden grounds have suffered considerably, General Jin Xiao spoke, especially divine monarch Shui Yun. He has massacred too many creatures this time. After we defeated Yu Tianyi, if we had immediately sent Lord Luo He to support the other forbidden grounds, the outcome might have been different, Gao Wu Shui said. That was not for us to decide. The other leader of the Huyang Guard also shook his head. The affairs of Huyang City were decided by the core figures of the city owner's mansion. Their role was to follow orders. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng, accompanied by Morosa and Moyu Qingyang, steered the flying boat, still on their return journey. Brother Luo He, a major incident has occurred, Zhu Yu messaged Luo Feng. Yong Hu, the great general of Yu Kingdom's capital, appeared within the city and moved to exterminate divine monarch Shui Yun. Divine monarch Shui Yun unleashed strength far beyond the past, resulting in the slaughter of more than 80 billion creatures, which forced great General Yong Hu to retreat. What's the situation? Luo Feng frowned slightly. From the information passed by his master mountain-sitting guest and the Duandong River lineage, he already knew about the cruelty of the land of origin, not to mention the clashes between primal chaos dominators and godly kings. Even conflicts among the uber-powerful eternal true gods could still affect an astronomical number of creatures. I'll send you the details. Zhu Yu immediately sent a complete report. This is the latest intelligence collected by the Flame Wind Pavilion, very detailed. Luo Feng immediately checked the detailed report. Before this, he had not known about great General Yong Hu being in the city, and in more than 2 decades, he had never once found divine monarch Shui Yun. Inside the flying boat, Luo Feng watched the entire intelligence report in detail. The report contained a rather detailed introduction about Great General Yong Hu and even covered the entire process of the Shi Kingdom's forces' attack. As a guardian of a forbidden land, Luo Feng knew less than what was in this report. General Yong from the Yu Kingdom's capital, cultivating unlimited godly bodies, has unfathomable strength. I didn't expect that even with the help of the Grand Formation in Huyang City, he was unable to kill Shui Yun, Luo Feng marveled internally. After this battle, Divine Monarch Shui Yun's fame greatly increased. Whether it was the Yu Kingdom or the Shi Kingdom, they would both value Divine Monarch Shui Yun even more. The next time Yu Kingdom made a move, they would only send a force stronger than General Yong. The Shi Kingdom would also make even more effective use of Divine Monarch Shui Yun. That was something Divine Monarch Shui Yun did not want to see, as his tasks would only become more burdensome and the dangers greater. On the side of the Shi Kingdom's forces, Shui Yun, Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, all three of them are still alive. With the Shi Kingdom's style of doing things, they won't let this rest. Luo Feng immediately steered the flying boat straight to where General Yong and Shui Yun had clashed. "Master, where are we going?" Morosa sensed that their course had changed. To where General Yong and Shui Yun clashed, Luo Feng said, while Morosa appeared thoughtful. A moment later, the flying boat soon reached the site of the battle. Luo Feng saw that a large number of Huyang guards had gathered and already sealed off the area, preventing other citizens inside the city from approaching this place. "Please leave immediately." Seeing a flying boat approaching, the Huyang guards immediately came over to drive it away. Luo Feng retracted the flying boat, his invisible domain protected Moyu Qingyang, and naturally, Morosa did not need his protection. The Huyang guard squad preparing to drive them away was startled when they saw Luo Feng. Lord Luo He, the Huyang guards were all quite respectful. They knew basic intelligence about all the eternal true gods in Huyang City, so they could recognize him at a glance. When patrolling the whole city, they did not dare provoke eternal true gods. Otherwise, an eternal true god could use a small-scale cosmic domain to hide and silently eliminate them, and the city owner's mansion could not identify the murderer without paying a high price. "I'll just take a look here," Luo Feng said. The Huyang guards did not dare to speak further and immediately withdrew. Luo Feng looked ahead. Within the vast area sealed off by the Huyang guards, there were many densely populated residential zones and some family cave mansions, but now the inside was desolate. All dead, without a single survivor. Thick resentment gathered in this area. Over 80 billion true gods were instantly killed, and the anger, unwillingness, despair, and hatred at the moment of their death. All kinds of intents were entangled together, forming a terrible malice. With such resentment, the Huyang guards only dared to seal off the outer perimeter. There would be eternal true gods to come and deal with this malice. This kind of thing is happening everywhere in the land of origin. Not just me, even a godly king cannot change all this. This is the law of the survival of the fittest. Luo Feng silently watched this scene. Although there are laws, the restraining power of the laws is ultimately limited. Like when primal chaos overlords devour the creatures of an entire large city, aren't they still at ease? Even a Mei Wu Qi who massacres citizens could escape the strict punishment of the laws if Luo Feng did not intervene. Brother Luo He, a tall figure flew over from afar. Luo Feng turned to look, and the person approaching was Shong Tianyang. Usually full of enthusiasm, Shong Tianyang now had a trace of sorrow. "You're here too," Luo Feng said to him. "I'm here to bid farewell to my disciples." Shong Tianyang looked at the area where resentment soared to the sky, sighing, "Tonight, 8,039 of my heavenly flame sect disciples died. They were living in this area." Luo Feng was taken aback. After all, the heavenly flame sect, established by Shong Tianyang over the long years, had numerous disciples, and it was normal to have over 8,000 in this area. He had also lived in the heavenly flame sect for a period of time, and maybe among these 8,039 disciples were some who had seen him from a distance. Most of these disciples were quite mediocre, but they were still very hard-working, trying to seize every opportunity. Shong Tianyang lamented, "In my heavenly flame sect, as long as someone can pass the strict tests, anyone has the chance to become my direct disciple." Among these 8,039 disciples, there was one who was my direct disciple, named Meng Shi. Meng Shi lost his parents when he was just a child. He joined the Heavenly Flame sect when he grew up, working extremely hard. He learned every aspect of artifact refining diligently and finally became my direct disciple after passing the strict tests, Shong Tianyang recounted. Who would have thought that tonight, he would be caught in the crossfire and die? Luo Feng silently looked at the vast area now only filled with malice. I received intelligence that Shi Kingdom's leaders this time, Shuiyun, Yu Tianshu, and Yu Tianyi, are all still alive. Shong Tianyang looked at Luo Feng. The report states that brother Luo He, you also took action this time? I clashed with Yu Tianyi, he is quite powerful. Yu Tianshu will be even stronger, Luo Feng said, especially Shuiyun, he's much stronger than what the previous report stated. And he's much crazier than before. Shong Tianyang looked at the area ahead. In the past, he was very restrained and never carried out such indiscriminate slaughtering. But this time, it affected over 80 billion. And all three of them are still alive. I'm afraid there will be other actions. The struggle between the Shi Kingdom and the Yu Kingdom will continue for a long time, Luo Feng said. Yes, it will continue indefinitely. This is my homeland, I really don't want to see it destroyed by the conflicts between the two countries. Shong Tianyang looked at the area. Luo Feng and Shong Tianyang stood shoulder to shoulder, looking at the vast expanse. After a long while, they parted and went their separate ways. Not only Luo Feng and Shong Tianyang came here, but eternal true gods from all sides of Huyang City were shocked by this conflict. After all, while conflicts had always existed over the long term, they had never been so intense. The appearance of General Yong and the strength and madness of divine monarch Shuiyun both made the various forces within the city tremble. *********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Shong Tianyang had returned, and he summoned an old servant. Sect leader, a metallic life form greeted with respect. Uncle Chiu, Shong Tianyang smiled at him, I need your help with something. Sect leader, you always insist on being so courteous. Uncle Chiu grinned broadly, his golden face beaming with a smile. Shong Tianyang looked at Uncle Chiu. When he first returned alone to his hometown of Huyang City, he scoured the entire city, only to find his former family servant, Uncle Chiu. Later on, when he established the Heavenly Flame sect, Uncle Chiu became the one he trusted the most, handling all sorts of big and small matters for the sect. This secret letter I've given you, once my cause and effect dissipates, you must immediately pass it on to the 5 individuals listed, Shong Tianyang said. Cause and effect dissipates? The metallic life form Uncle Chiu paused and looked at Shong Tianyang, sect leader, you've always enjoyed teaching those disciples, always enjoyed making friends, this world is still wonderful and interesting, don't give up. I'm not seeking death, I'm just preparing to do something quite dangerous, Shong Tianyang said. Dangerous? Sect leader, must you do it? Uncle Chiu looked at him. This matter is very meaningful, Shong Tianyang said with a brilliant smile. After I returned to Huyang City, I hoped that every day henceforth would be meaningful. This matter, I must do it. Having said that, Shong Tianyang turned and left. Sect leader. Uncle Chiu watched the departing figure of Shong Tianyang, tears streaming down. Dream Flower Tower. Shong Tianyang had come here. Tianyang, why have you come? Dream Flower Tower Master came to see him with a smile. As one of the 2 eternal true gods who were most infatuated with her in the entire city, the Dream Flower Tower Master still cared a lot about Shong Tianyang. Just wanted to see you, Shong Tianyang looked at the Dream Flower Tower Master. The godly body of the Dream Flower Tower Master contained the source of law that she had comprehended. In her presence, one could naturally see the figure that most desired to be seen in their heart. In Shong Tianyang's eyes, the Dream Flower Tower Master had already taken on the appearance of his wife, with the breath and smile of his wife. Just staring at me like this. Dream Flower Tower Master laughed, shall I join you for a few drinks? Sure, Shong Tianyang nodded with a smile. Do you know what happened tonight? That divine monarch Shui Yun slaughtered over 8 billion creatures within Huyang City, Dream Flower Tower Master said in surprise, it's really terrifying. The days to come in Huyang City will probably not be peaceful. It is terrifying, Shang Tianyang raised his glass. Let's drink. So they chatted intermittently, drinking wine. Time passed without knowing how long, and Shang Tianyang bid his farewell and left. The Dream Flower Tower Master personally saw him off. Strange. Dream Flower Tower Master watched as Shang Tianyang disappeared into the night sky, slightly puzzled. Shang Tianyang today, his words are different from usual. Then she thought no more of it and returned to her Dream Flower Tower. Flying in the night sky, Shang Tianyang looked at the bustling city, a place filled with many beautiful memories for him. All the treasures and cosmic sand I have in the Dark Hall, if I should die, please pass them to Lord Luo He, Shang Tianyang said upon seeing a distant ordinary cave mansion, immediately contacting the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Long ago, he had placed all his precious treasures and cosmic sand in the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Whoosh! Shang Tianyang flew to the front of that cave mansion. Open the door, Shang Tianyang urged. The door to the cave mansion opened, and Shang Tianyang flew in. In the ordinary cave mansion, in front of a pavilion, Sang Shueyun was sitting there, despondently drinking alone. You've come, Sang Shueyun looked at him. In the entire Huyang city, only Shang Tianyang could easily enter Sang Shueyun's mansion. Shang Tianyang also sat down next to him. Join me in a drink, Sang Shueyun tossed a wine flask over. Shang Tianyang caught the wine flask and looked at it. Brother Sang, back then you and I were both alone in Huyang City. Seeing you, I feel as if I'm looking at my own shadow. You, like me, are infatuated with the Dream Flower Tower Master. You, like me, are unattached to anything. No, you have attachments. You established the Heavenly Flame sect and trained a large number of artifact refining disciples, Sang Shueyun said. I always thought you were just like me. Shang Tianyang looked at Sang Shueyun. We are indeed the same. You are also my only friend in Huyang City. Sang Shueyun looked at him, even considered my only friend in this world. Actually, you and I are different, Shang Tianyang said softly. I gradually realized that you are indifferent to everything. You wouldn't care even if the world was destroyed. Even if it came to me, if you wanted to kill, you would not hesitate. Sang Shueyun frowned as he looked at him. Brother Shang, what are you talking about? In the entire Huyang City, the only one you can't fool is me. Shang Tianyang looked at Sang Shueyun. I really didn't want to expose you if you hadn't started to go mad. Sang Shueyun fell silent as he looked at him, his eyes growing cold. Divine Monarch Shueyun, I'm not mistaken, am I? Shang Tianyang looked at him. Sang Shueyun watched him, yet a series of powers escaped into the depths of the earth, swiftly leaving the cave mansion. Brother Shang, I never expected you to think of me this way. Sang Shueyun's voice was deep. I do have some secrets, and you have secrets too. I thought that we understood each other, that neither of us would probe into the other's secrets. I never imagined you'd be investigating me, even suspecting that I might be Divine Monarch Shueyun. Do you really think a lonely cultivator like me could possess such strength? Shang Tianyang looked at him. Are you still denying it at this time? You really have it wrong. Sang Shueyun looked at him. If I'm wrong, then why has your true body already fled? Shang Tianyang looked at him. Sang Shueyun was silent. Brother Shang, it seems you are stronger than I expected, able to detect my escape technique. Sang Shueyun exclaimed with a sigh. His escape technique incorporated 3 primal Chaos Realm moves and was silent. An ordinary eternal true god would never detect it. I'm not particularly good at anything, I just know a bit about artifact refining. Shang Tianyang said, but upon returning to Huyang City, I have no inclination to compete. It's only the outside world that says my artifact refining is among the top within Huyang City. Top tier without competing? Sang Shueyun looked at him. I've known all along you and I are the same. You and I are not the same. Shang Tianyang looked at him. Both of us are very lonely in this world, with few attachments. But I am grateful for the experiences of this life. I watch the wonders of the world, the cultivators each with their own pursuits, their own loves, just like you and I used to be, full of fighting spirit and desire. The world is wonderful, so why must you destroy it all? Shang Tianyang looked at him. By destroying everything, what is it for? As long as I can become stronger, it's worth the sacrifice of anything. Sang Shueyun's eyes were cold and fierce. Even if countless creatures perish, So what? I, Sang Shueyun, will surely become the primal chaos overlord, and in the future even ascend to godly king. What's the point of becoming a godly king? Shang Tianyang looked at him. Even after becoming a godly king, there are still ancient forces like flame wind ancient country, thunder ancient country that are far beyond you. In the vast land of origin, there will always be those stronger than you. Sang Shueyun said coldly, in this world, I am alone, now I only wish to cultivate and grow even stronger. To become stronger for the sake of becoming stronger. Shang Tianyang shook his head, you truly are different from me. Of course we're different. Sang Shueyun said, you are but a tiny, unnoticeable wave in the land of origin, while I will be like the vast heavens and earth, dominating all things. The countless creatures of the land of origin will be influenced by me. My will shall determine the life and death of countless beings. Shang Tianyang looked at him. Then are you happy? Sang Shueyun was startled. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how many creatures' lives and deaths you decide, ask yourself, if you're still lonely and in pain, then this path you're treading is one of suffering. Shang Tianyang looked at Sang Shueyun, our paths have crossed in life, and I only hope that you can walk a path that brings relief and joy to your heart, a path where you can face earnestly the one you once cherished. Regardless of the changes in the external world, the true feelings in your heart are what matter. Shang Tianyang looked at Sang Shueyun. Ha ha ha, you actually try to change me? Sang Shueyun looked at Shang Tianyang. We've known each other for too long, I see through your thoughts at a glance. Yes, I am trying to change you, I know, I can't stop you. Even the Yu kingdom might not be able to kill you. A cultivator as sinful as you is truly likely to become the primal chaos overlord and even ascend to godly king. I only hope that a peerless strong person in the future faces this world with benevolence, not malice. Shang Tianyang looked at Sang Shueyun. Ha ha ha. Sang Shueyun's eyes were filled with madness. You have your path, I have mine. What is good and evil? My will is the will of the heavens and the earth, the will of all creatures. Shang Tianyang gently shook his head. Since you have come, you must have left yourself a way out. Sang Shueyun looked at him. What's your backup plan? Currently, no one in Huyang City can kill me, not even General Yong, as he's worried about affecting countless creatures. So your backup plan, did it rely on external powers? Very smart. Shang Tianyang said. What backup plan did you arrange? Sang Shueyun stared at him. Tell me, and I might spare your life. You guess. Shang Tianyang smiled. My backup plan, I can't say for sure that it will kill you, but it should have a 90% chance. What exactly is the backup plan? Sang Shueyun's eyes were filled with madness. Let's test your strength. The strength of divine monarch Shueyun. Shang Tianyang suddenly threw a punch. He was barehanded, and just one punch carried a might that made the heavens and earth tremble. Sang Shueyun stood still, letting the punch pierce through his chest. His entire body flowed like the blood wave. An invisible domain enveloped the entire cave mansion, and Sang Shueyun, who was transformed into the blood wave, stared at Shang Tianyang. Refining your own godly body as if it's a mechanical stream secret treasure? Brother Shang, your artifact refining skills truly far surpass those in the entirety of Huyang City. You shouldn't have to die like this, so tell me, what backup plan do you really have? Knowing the backup plan would help him deal with it better. He knew Shang Tianyang very well. Shang Tianyang seemed to make numerous friends with passion, treating countless disciples of his sect kindly, but when it came to scheming, he was certainly not inferior to him, Sang Shueyun. The two of them, they understood each other very well. Do you think I would tell you? Shang Tianyang shook his head. Then I have no choice but to personally send you on your way. Sang Shueyun's body transformed into the blood wave, completely enveloping Shang Tianyang. Shang Tianyang, enveloped by the blood wave, turned his head to look at this world. The world is so marvelous, yet you want to wreak mindless slaughter and destruction, all for a mere glimmer of hope for breakthrough. Whoosh! The blood wave eroded, and Shang Tianyang's body quickly melted away, the true god's heart annihilated. Sang Shueyun stood silently in place. Shang Tianyang was dead. The only friend he had in this world was killed by his own hands. Those who block my path should die. Sang Shueyun was expressionless. He looked all around. It appears there are no ambushes after all. it seems you didn't place your hopes on the strong within Huyang City. Was it to borrow outside forces to kill me? This force of the blood wave also quietly escaped underground. This place, after such a battle, was no longer suitable for inhabitation. In an ordinary residence, metallic life form Uncle Chio stared into the night sky, anxiously waiting when suddenly, the cause and effect within his karmic messenger order dissipated for sect leader Shong Tianyang. Sect leader, Uncle Chio's heart trembled, knowing that the sect leader had ultimately died. Without hesitation, following the sect leader's previous arrangements, Uncle Chio immediately dispatched the secret letter to 5 targets. Indeed, Shong Tianyang was not absolutely certain that Sang Shueyun was Shueyun. Confirmation was needed. He worried that he might not have the chance to pass on the message before he died while confirming it. Therefore, he had Uncle Chio help spread the secret letter too. In reality, Shong Tianyang had also used the karmic messenger order to pass on a more definitive message. At the city owner's mansion, Mo Li Meng was handling the aftermath. After all, Divine Monarch Shui Yun had slaughtered over 80 billion creatures, which would greatly impact the entire Huyang city. One wrong move could potentially cause widespread panic. Mo Li Meng first received Shong Tianyang's message, followed by the secret letter from Uncle Chio. The true identity of Divine Monarch Shui Yun is Sang Shueyun. Mo Li Meng's face lit up with delight. This Sang Shueyun has lived in Huyang City for too long. I have encountered him many times at the Dream Flower Tower. Wherever he went, he must have left traces, and the more traces there are, the more we might try to deduce the secrets of heaven and trace his footsteps. Mo Li Meng finished reading Shong Tianyang's complete secret letter. What a masterful move by Shong Tianyang. He actually had a karmic tracing order, and within it was contained the cause and effect of Sang Shueyun. With this karmic tracing order, we can trace the whereabouts of Sang Shueyun. Mo Li Meng was overjoyed. This just got easier. With the ability to track his location, the Marquis can meticulously plan and eradicate him in one fell swoop. Even if his power rivaled that of General Yong, but as long as the location was confirmed, and with adequate preparations, it was entirely possible to mobilize sufficiently powerful forces to annihilate him in one stroke. Shong Tianyang, you truly have made a great contribution. Mo Li Meng was excited when suddenly, he noticed the cause and effect of Shong Tianyang in the karmic messenger order had dissipated. He died. Mo Li Meng's heart quivered. His karmic tracing order is stored in the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall, and only my father Mo Li Xiao can go and retrieve it. Mo Li Meng didn't dare to hesitate and immediately went to report this intelligence. This was the intelligence Shong Tianyang left behind with his life. In fact, Sang Shueyun was very cautious. Even though he and Shong Tianyang were close friends, he never left behind anything like blood that could allow Shong Tianyang to lock onto his cause and effect. However, Sang Shueyun didn't understand the methods of an artifact refining master. Their long-lasting interaction naturally created cause and effect entanglement. Utilizing their mutual cause and effect, Shong Tianyang was able to imprint it onto the karmic tracing order and thus, trace Sang Shueyun's location. In Shong Tianyang's eyes, as long as Divine Monarch Shueyun caused disaster, Yu Kingdom might tolerate it once, but not twice or thrice. Once Yu Kingdom decided to kill a Divine Monarch Shueyun, and with the karmic tracing order to confirm the location, the chances of success were greatly increased. But Shong Tianyang also understood there were too many uncertainties in the future. He could only do his utmost. The Dream Flower Tower Master was playing a tune alone in a pavilion when suddenly, she received a message. The Dream Flower Tower Master checked the message. The true identity of the Shi Kingdom's forces leader Divine Monarch Shueyun is Sang Shueyun. At this moment, the top few powers within Huyang City are all aware of this news, but don't worry, the city owner's mansion owes me a lot, and I have asked them to take care of you. Also, the top powers within the city have quite a relationship with me, so I believe they won't trouble you. Should you truly face great danger in the future, other powers may be unreliable, but Lord Luo he can help you. I know his temperament, and in my regard, he will help you once. But you must not trouble him too much, as he dislikes being bothered. Once he feels aversion towards you, he will no longer care about your life or death. No need to worry about Sang Shueyun, he won't come to Dreamflower Tower again. Dreamflower, your illusion technique is really mediocre. Among those who are skilled in illusion techniques, you are at the bottom tier. You must cultivate diligently in the future. In this world, in the end, you have to rely on yourself. This secret letter left the Dreamflower Tower master dumbfounded. Shang Tianyang and Sang Shueyun, the two eternal true gods who were enamored with her. Tianyang is dead. The Dreamflower Tower master discovered the cause and effect of Shang Tianyang had dissipated within the karmic messenger order. She stood there, stupefied, feeling her mind thundering with too many thoughts to remain calm. Inside the cave mansion, at the peak of a high mountain, Luo Feng sat cross-legged, quietly cultivating. He didn't use the karmic messenger order and thus did not receive its messages, but he did receive the news from the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Lord Luo He, Shang Tianyang is confirmed dead. In accordance with his last wishes, the over 3 million cosmic sand and all treasures including a secret letter he left in our Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall, are to be handed over to you. Please come personally to retrieve them from the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. This message left Luo Feng stunned. Shang Tianyang, confirmed dead. Brother Shang is dead. Luo Feng murmured softly. Luo Feng had witnessed too much life and death on his journey. Back on Earth, he had seen many heroes give their lives for the planet. Later, he also watched as numerous figures, including the founder of the giant axe, perished one after another during the rise of the human race in the primordial cosmos. Having experienced so much, Luo Feng's spirit had long since become incredibly resilient. How did Shang Tianyang die? Luo Feng transmitted to the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. This piece of information is worth 1 cosmic sand. The Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall responded, because the information was rapidly spreading and the price they were selling it for was relatively low. I'll buy this piece of information. Luo Feng replied. Tonight, Shang Tianyang went to observe the battleground where General Yong and Divine Monarch Shueyun fought. Afterwards, he returned to the Heavenly Flame sect to arrange some affairs, and then he went to meet the Dreamflower Tower master. Following that, he went alone to see Sang Shueyun, and at Sang Shueyun's residence, a battle broke out. During the fight, he sent out a message using the karmic messenger order, confirming that Sang Shueyun was Divine Monarch Shueyun. The battle lasted only a moment, Shang Tianyang died, and Sang Shueyun fled and disappeared. Information came through from the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Luo Feng understood. Brother Shang, you didn't tell me about this because you were worried about involving me? Luo Feng murmured to himself, that Divine Monarch Shueyun couldn't have threatened me, I could have killed him. It had been more than 20 eras since he arrived in the land of origin. Shang Tianyang was his only friend. Although he knew many eternal true gods, they were nothing more than acquaintances. The only one he respected and acknowledged as a true friend was Shang Tianyang. He remembered the first time they met. He was a nobody in the Dreamflower Tower without any reputation. The more famous eternal true gods couldn't be bothered with him, but only Shang Tianyang took the initiative to befriend him enthusiastically. He didn't care about his strength, he was just enthusiastic to befriend him. During their first meeting, he presented Luo Feng with information about Huyang City, warning him of its dangers. Over the long span of more than 20 eras, it was always him asking Shang Tianyang for help, asking him for guidance on the mysteries of body refinement. The only time Shang Tianyang urgently made a request was when he hoped Luo Feng could save his friend's children. You never asked me for help for your own sake. Luo Feng looked into the distance, his gaze catching the attention of Morosa, who immediately sensed something was amiss. Come with me. Luo Feng ordered. Yes. Morosa, perceiving the unusual look in his master's eyes, understood that in all their time on the land of origin, his master had never shown such an expression before. Whoosh! Steering the flying boat, Luo Feng took Morosa and headed straight to the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Inside the city owner's mansion, Mo Li Xiao, the lord of Huyang City, and an elderly man with white hair were gathered together. As the highest commander of the Huyang Legion, Mo Li Xiao had the ability to traverse the void directly, and had already made a trip to the Flame Wind Pavilion to collect the karmic tracing order. This is the karmic tracing order left by Shang Tianyang. Mo Li Xiao said, holding a token. With this, one can pinpoint the location of divine monarch Shui Yun. Shong Tianyang has made a great contribution. The Lord of Huyang City said. It's a pity he's already dead. The elderly man shook his head. Mo Li Xiao spoke calmly. Now, we just wait for the arrangement from the Marquis. Divine monarch Shui Yun's strength is too great. Without leveraging the grand array of Huyang City, even General Yong could not do anything to him. The Lord of Huyang City said somberly, with such power, killing divine monarch Shui Yun is extremely difficult. Indeed, nodded the elderly man, in all of Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture, none under the Marquis can match General Yong. The most terrifying of the eternal true gods of Yu Kingdom almost all follow the 5 godly kings. Mo Li Xiao stated, without a special reason, who would come to a place like Huyang City? The resources that a godly king can provide naturally far exceed those from a primal chaos overlord. Thus, under the banners of the 5 god kings, they attract a sufficiently vast number of powerful beings. Those of General Yong's caliber naturally prefer to follow a godly king. Yes, if the Marquis needs to mobilize forces, he probably needs to borrow experts from other places. The Lord of Huyang City agreed, it's not something that can be resolved quickly. The conflicts between the 2 big divine kingdoms are also tacitly understood. In a normal conflict, no matter how many eternal true gods die, it's blamed on insufficient strength, and this is considered a lower intensity conflict. If one day a primal chaos overlord were to take to the field, the intensity of the war would escalate terribly, and a single ripple of aftermath could mean countless lives lost. The eternal true gods dare not get involved. Whichever primal chaos overlord wins, will naturally claim victory. As for the godly kings, their intervention is highly unlikely. Should they act, the impact would be profound. Even the major divine kingdoms of the land of origin would pay attention, and could possibly intervene. God kings do not enter the fray when they are not certain of victory. These ancient beings also vie for cultivation resources, and without confidence, they will not fight to the death. Like when the Shi kingdom annihilated the Jin state, once they made a move, they didn't give the god king Jin any chance to resist. They completely eradicated all the strong in the royal capital of Jin state, with only god king Jin escaping in disgrace into the universe ocean. The Marquis has sent an order. The white-haired elder's eyes lit up. As the leader of the Jiang clan in Huyang City, he naturally received the command. What is it? Asked the Lord of Huyang City, Mo Li Xiao. The Marquis has only one order, to increase the bounties for divine monarch Shui Yun, Yu Qianshu, and Yu Tianyi, the white-haired elder said. The Lord of Huyang City nodded in understanding. It seems we're pinning our hopes on the bounty to attract some fearsome powerhouses to make a move. Mobilizing forces also takes time, and if a powerhouse takes up the bounty and kills divine monarch Shui Yun and the others, that would also be good, Mo Li Xiao said. I've heard that the 2 ancient countries and some of the mysterious major forces from the land of origin also have elite followers roaming around. If they discover a high bounty, they might come to Huyang City. How much is the bounty? The Lord of Huyang City asked further. The Marquis instructed that the bounty for divine monarch Shui Yun be raised to 10 million cosmic sand. Yu Qianshu's bounty is increased to 2 million, and Yu Tianyi's to 1 million, the white-haired elder stated. Mo Li Xiao and the Lord of Huyang City were taken aback. True to the Marquis style, his actions are indeed generous. The Marquis has the entire Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture as his fief, with 3 large cities and 189 ordinary cities. The residents all have to pay a residence fee. While each resident pays very little, the accumulated amount is enormous. After deducting the operation costs for the cities and part of what is handed over to the God Kings and the Marquis of Zhujiang, just 1 era is enough for the entire Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture to amass a considerable fortune. About 10 million cosmic sand? Indeed, it's a trivial amount for the Marquis of Zhujiang. He would rather spend some cosmic sand on a bounty than trouble a god king over such a trivial matter. In my Yu Kingdom alone, there are more than 10 individuals who openly possess strength comparable to General Yong, and 3 to 4 others even more dazzling, the white-haired elder said. Not to mention the elites nurtured by some major forces in the land of origin. With millions of cosmic sand, I believe that within 1 era, We will surely attract powerhouses strong enough. Luo Feng steered the flying boat towards the Flame Wind Association's dark hall. Brother Luo He, the vice president of the Flame Wind Guild, personally received him. These are all the items left by Shang Tianyang for you. With that, he handed over a jade vial. Luo Feng took it and saw inside over 3 million cosmic sand, a large amount of materials, weapon secret treasures, and most conspicuously, a letter. Brother Luo He, by the time you read this letter, I should already be dead. You need not grieve for me. In fact, when I returned to my hometown of Huyang City alone, I had no intention to survive. Later, it was the young ones in the city who moved me. I thought to myself, pretend I'm already dead. Spend the rest of my days doing something meaningful, making each day count a little more. I've left all the resources I've accumulated in my lifetime for you. I ask nothing in return because you detest evil and are willing to help the weak, which is all I could hope for. Having known so many friends since returning to Huyang City so long ago, the one I admire the most is you, Brother Luo He. The path of cultivation is arduous, so you must take good care of yourself. If you face a great enemy, bowing your head and being cautious isn't a disgrace. The key is to survive, because survival gives you the opportunity to kill your enemies. Sometimes, surviving is harder than dying. My life has ended. I wish for you, Brother Luo He, my friend, to achieve your desires, and feel that every day henceforth is well spent. The letter was filled with an old friend's ramblings, but Luo Feng's heart ached even more. Brother Shang, you were the only friend I made since coming to the land of origin, Luo Feng murmured solemnly, and the only one I truly admired. Rest assured, you exposed divine monarch Shuiyun's identity with your life. I promise you, he will surely die. He won't escape. Luo Feng turned and left. The vice president of the Flame Wind Guild watched the scene. This Lord Luo He had an unusual relationship with Shang Tianyang, but divine monarch Shuiyun is not to be trifled with either. After leaving the Flame Wind Pavilion, Luo Feng, accompanied by Morosa who was waiting outside, immediately steered the flying boat away. Master, Morosa addressed Luo Feng. Luo Feng, looking at the vast Huyang city enshrouded in the night, said, I remember you being able to track any life form you have sensed before. We have met Sang Shuiyun not just once. Can you find him? Morosa communicated telepathically, don't worry, Master. As long as he is not a perfect divine body, which can completely isolate his aura, I will definitely be able to lock on to his presence once we're near. Let's start by searching the entire Huyang city then, Luo Feng said. I'll steer the flying boat while you carefully sense and track. Yes, Morosa responded. Luo Feng promptly steered the flying boat, flying swiftly over areas of Huyang city, with Morosa carefully sensing each region. This video will end here.